today's video, I want to talk to you about toning. So what does toning actually mean? What are the myths behind it? I'm just gonna explain the whole situation. So toning, a lot of people talk when they talk about lifting weights, they talk about, I want to tone the muscle. And I never understood what that meant, but people generally mean they want to lift light weights, so they're gonna tone the muscle. So that's basically making it more defined, which is sort of true and sort of bullshit. It's not true and it's not completely false. Because when you lift weights, you build muscle, you shape the muscle because you add more muscle mass to it, and you shape the muscle. That part is true. But lifting very light weights won't shape your muscle all the time. You have to add muscle mass. If you don't add muscle mass to it with heavy weights, then you won't shape the muscle that much. Because the shape of the muscle is basically genetics. You can't control how certain parts of your body looks except adding more muscle mass, but the shape, that's basically genetics. And people have this misconception that if they lift light weights, they're gonna look more defined. No definition comes from having a low body fat. So now we're in that situation where I say, to get more definition, you gotta lose body fat. So be in a calorie deficit, go on a cut, lose the body fat, and that's it. And you're gonna be defined. Definition doesn't necessarily come from lifting light weights. It does if you're undertrained, if you never touched a weight. Of course, when you start lifting, your muscles are gonna look different, but not necessarily because you're doing the exercise, but because you're adding on muscle mass. You're adding muscle, and that shapes that specific muscle. It's not because you're lifting a weight. It's because over time you're adding muscle mass, and that will shape that muscle, make it look different, bigger, and so on. But definition basically comes from losing body fat. That's all. You can't just do hundreds of curls and expect to have shredded big biceps. That doesn't happen. You have to perform different types of exercises with different types of rep ranges, different types of weights, different types of angles to work every single part of the muscle, and that's gonna shape it, not just doing something for light weights. That's a myth and that's bullshit. So I'm not gonna rant, overcomplicate this video, let's just keep it simple. So definition, like I said, comes from having low body fat. So if you want to get more defined, have more definition in your shoulders, want to get more veins, you're gonna have to get leaner, get in a calorie deficit, and lose body fat. The next thing, toning, is basically shaping the muscle. So to shape the muscle, you gotta be in a calorie surplus. You're gonna lift relatively heavy weights. You gotta use different types of exercise to hit different angles of the muscle, and you gotta put muscle mass in that area to shape it and to make it more defined. Because if you have a very skinny guy who doesn't have any muscle mass, he could do, I don't know, millions of push-ups, and he's not gonna have a chest like Arnold. So it doesn't work like that. it does work, and I'm not saying that it's totally bullshit. It's not, you know, because when you're totally untrained and you do exercises for certain muscle groups, that muscle group is gonna look bigger, probably because you put on a little bit of muscle mass, because you never trained that muscle, you know, and you're working those muscle fibers, you know, so the muscle gets a different kind of shape. But I believe it's because of the added muscle mass, you know. That's what I believe. I don't think toning actually exists, you know, doing a ton of reps. That doesn't work like that, you know, but I strongly believe that if you're doing more high rep training, that muscle, like for example, like for the abs, guys, if you watch my videos, you know that I always recommend training abs in 2 types of ways. The first one is with weights, and the second one is with body weights, calisthenics, basically high reps. And the heavy weight is basically for the muscle thickness, and the calisthenics are basically for definition, for basically having those striations in the abs. That part is true, and I believe that part is true for every other muscle too. You know, heavy weights build that thickness, also the definition, but the lighter weight, or even calisthenics with higher reps, they build that, you know, small definition in the muscles. That I do believe. So that's why I think both parts of training are important. Not just heavy weights, low reps, but I also believe that lower weight and higher reps, or even calisthenics with higher reps, they offer their own set of benefits. You know, it's a different kind of training which hits the muscle from a different angle, which shapes it in a different way. So that is what I do believe. So can we call that toning? Yeah, you can call it toning, you know, but that's just overcomplicating shit. You just have to train in a variety of rep ranges to get the physique you want, you know. Train for a month in the heavyweight rep range, then you can train with higher reps the next month, you know, just try to balance it out. But like I said, if lower reps is for thickness and muscle, and higher reps are for definition, that's not necessarily science, you know, it's not 100% scientifically proven, but you know, that's what I believe. You know, I've seen it with experience, and you guys can do what you want. You know, do your research, test it out, try it out. That's the best way to do. Don't just believe everything I say. Test it out, and you'll see for yourself if it works. If it doesn't, you have to test it out and try it for yourself. But basically, that's what's considered toning. It's kind of true, and at the same time, it's not completely, you know, it's not true and it's not completely false either. You know, it's the mix of both. But to not overcomplicate that shit, just train in different rep ranges. Every few weeks or so, change up the weights, so you train in different rep ranges from high to low, and you'll be fine. So that was it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to leave a comment about your opinion, like this video, and definitely subscribe. Peace out.